That's a big pig. We are deep in the heart of Texas farmland, where the night comes alive and the farmers' fields turn into battlegrounds. Out here, the enemy isn't coyotes or deer. It's the feral hog invasion. These wild, crop-destroying boars are massive, dangerous, and relentless. When they come out of the woods, they root up soil, flatten crops, and leave destruction in their path. Tonight, under the Texas moonlight, we are here to face these giant wild boars head-on. Earlier in the evening, I had just wrapped up a dove hunt in Texas with some friends. Dusty, tired, and ready to relax, we were interrupted by local farmers with an urgent request. The hogs are back.
Imagine waking up to find your crops destroyed overnight, your fences torn apart, and the ground ripped open as if a bulldozer plowed through.
Wildlife management and farm defense all rolled into one. Permission was granted, and with our rifles locked and loaded, we drove down a long dirt road, headlights slicing through the night. The air smelled of plowed soil and hog musk.
It was
the signs
wild
were
boars.
fresh, hoof prints in the mud, churned earth, and distant grunts. Adrenaline surged as we spotted movement in the field. Suddenly, a monster boar charged across the beam of my light, easily 300 pounds.
In America, these animals aren't just pests. They're an unstoppable force, costing farmers over $2.5 billion in damages every year.
First a 6.8 SPC hit, then a 308 cracked. The hog stumbled but didn't fall. Smoke and dust filled the air, and I lost sight in the chaos. My last bullet chambered. Heart pounding, I fired again. Silence.
And the
then,
solution?
A crash
not
in the brush.
rifles, not
we
traps,
had it.
but
Walking
something
up,
straight out of a gladiator arena.
Shocking. Over 300 pounds of raw power. Shoulders
Massive
as broad
nets
as a truck
dropped from
tire.
the sky,
Cutters sharp
capable
enough
of
to rip
capturing
flesh
dozens
apart.
of boars in a single
This was no
sweep.
barnyard pig. This was a feral hog warrior built to survive and destroy. The smell was rank, musky, and wild. Dragging him out took all of us together.
But how do these
Muscles
farmers wrangle an animal
This was
smart
one of
enough
the
to
biggest
outwit
wild
dogs,
pigs I've
dodge
ever
bullets,
seen.
and break through steel fences?
Now let's talk about why
Let's
feral
find
hog
out.
hunting in Texas is more than sport. These animals aren't native to America. They were introduced hundreds of years ago, and ever since, their population has exploded. A sow can reproduce at just 6 months old. With a short gestation period, they produce 2 or even 3 litters every year, each with 6 to 12 piglets. That means
Wild
2
boars are
hogs
not
can
native
become
to
dozens
America.
in a single year.
Brought centuries ago,
Experts say
they spread
eradicating them
uncontrollably.
completely is impossible, unless nearly 70%
And today
of
their
population
population is
removed
exploding
annually.
past
Their
9
numbers
million.
keep growing. The damage from wild hogs is staggering. Texas farmers lose millions of dollars every year from destroyed crops and torn up soil.
They
But it doesn't
reproduce
stop
at
at
terrifying
farming.
rates.
Hogs
A
devour
single sow
birds,
can produce
snakes,
2 litters a year,
roots,
with up
tubers,
to
and even
12
baby
piglets
deer.
each time.
They eat anything.
That's why
even their
farmers
own
describe them
piglets.
as a
Their
biological
rooting behavior
wildfire.
leaves land barren and unusable. They spread diseases to livestock. They push out
They
native
tear through
species.
cornfields, devour
Simply put,
soybeans, and even
the
raid
feral
cattle
hog
feed.
problem in Texas is one of the greatest ecological threats the state has ever faced. Back in the field, we regrouped after the giant
Some
hog
ranchers
went
wake
down.
up to hundreds
But
of
the night
acres
wasn't
destroyed
done.
overnight.
Through thermal scopes, glowing white bodies moved across the darkness. Dozens more hogs. A true sounder of feral hogs, unstoppable without hunters. Most night hunters use suppressors and thermal optics. Suppressors don't just lower sound. They reduce recoil and keep hogs confused, giving hunters a
It's
second
not
chance
just a
at
farming
a clean
problem.
shot.
Highways,
Tonight I ran
suburban
my
lawns,
6.8
and even military
SPC
bases
with a
have been
Leopold
invaded.
VX6 scope and a mounted O-Light tactical flashlight pushing 1/500 lumens. With the pressure switch on my rifle, I could instantly light up a hog at 70 yards and pull the trigger. But there's a challenge. Smoke from suppressed barrels hangs in the flashlight beam like fog, making follow-up shots
The enemy
tough.
is smart,
That's
fast,
why the
and
first hit
ruthless,
matters
which
most.
is why
We lined
conventional
up.
methods fail.
Shots cracked, echoing across the farmland. More hogs dropped, one after another. The Texas night hunt turned into controlled chaos. Rifles firing, lights flashing, dust rising. By the time the field went quiet, we
But
had
then
3
came the
massive
nets.
boars down, each over 300 pounds. A small dent in a population of millions, but to the farmers, it was relief. Every hog killed is crop saved,
Picture this.
livestock protected,
A group
and
of boars
ecosystems
rooting around
preserved.
bait in the dark.
As
Overhead,
the hunt wrapped
a
up,
giant net
we stood
rigged
under
to
the
poles
wide
and
Texas
weighted with
sky,
steel.
exhausted but proud. 3 feral giants lay before us, proof of a battle well fought. For us, it was an epic Texas hog hunt.